This teddy bear appeared very ordinary, so when this woman bought it at her local flea market, she had no idea what she was actually bringing home. It looked well loved, and something about it gave her a warm, cozy feeling inside. But then her husband saw the bear and immediately recognized it. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Laura didn't expect much when she walked through the crowded flea market that chilly Saturday morning. The stalls were packed with old books, glassware, and clothes, but nothing really caught her eye. But that changed when she spotted a soft gray teddy bear on one of the tables. Somehow, it instantly grabbed her attention. There was something about the bear that made Laura smile. It reminded her of the one she had as a child. While inspecting the bear, Laura noticed that the vendor kept looking at her while she looked at the stuffed animal. He didn't speak a single word, but his eyes gazed upon her as if he was analyzing every part of the slightly confused woman. Laura would soon find out why that was. Feeling slightly awkward about the interaction, Laura chose to ignore this fact and decided to go along with the purchase. She handed a few coins to the elderly vendor and thought that was the end of it. But that couldn't have been further from the truth. Things were just getting started. When Laura got home, she placed the teddy bear on the couch in the living room. After staring at the bear for a few minutes with a broad smile on her face, Laura called over her husband Mark, who was making coffee in the kitchen. Mark, look what I found today! She was excited to show him her strange but wonderful purchase. But then something unexpected happened. Mark came into the living room, wiping his hands on a dish towel. At first, he smiled politely, but when his eyes landed on the teddy bear, his whole expression changed. Laura noticed his sudden change. Where did you get that? Mark asked, his voice sounding more serious than Laura expected. She explained the flea market and the friendly yet strange old man who had sold it to her. Mark didn't respond. Right away, he picked up the bear and turned it over in his hands, searching the fabric with care. As Mark inspected the bear, he found a tiny mark on its back, a faded blue star stitched into the fur. Laura hadn't noticed it when she bought it. Mark sat down on the edge of the couch, still holding the bear. I haven't seen this bear in over 20 years, he said quietly. Laura frowned, confused. What do you mean? Have you held this bear before? Mark nodded, still staring at the toy. He told Laura that when he was a child, he had a teddy bear just like this one. It had a blue star stitched by his grandmother, who gave it to him for his 5th birthday. Mark never expected to see it again, especially not after all the years that had passed. Shortly after Mark's 10th birthday was when it happened. His grandmother, who gave him this bear personally and always reminded him that it was very special, left suddenly and never returned. She was at their house one day, and the next, she was just gone. The family was confused, and Mark's mother and father kept looking for the old woman, who was 68 at the time. But Grandma Tilda was nowhere to be found. She was gone, and no one knew why. And that was not all that disappeared that day. On the same day that Grandma Tilda left their lives, the bear also went missing. Mark was devastated and searched high and low for any sign of it. Laura sat beside Mark on the couch, watching him tightly hold a teddy bear. She had never seen her husband look so confused before. How can you be sure it's the same one? Laura asked gently. Mark turned the bear over, his eyes searching for more proof. Mark pointed to the stitching around the bear's ear. My grandmother sewed it back on herself when I accidentally ripped off the ear after getting it caught underneath the sink. I remembered the stitching like it was just yesterday. This was the same bear. Both of them were convinced. Then Laura remembered what the vendor said when she bought the bear. That one's special. It was the same thing that Mark's grandmother apparently told him all those years back. That's strange, right? Laura asked her husband after explaining that specific interaction. Mark agreed, but he didn't recognize anyone he knew in the man's description. Confused, Mark ran to his study and pulled out a big pile of old photo albums. They held all of his family and childhood memories, dating back to even before he was born. Together, they flicked through every page trying to find someone who might resemble the man at the flea market, but unfortunately, none of them did. They analyzed photos of uncles, even neighbors, and distant relatives who were present at family events. But none of them resembled the vendor at the flea market even a little bit. That evening, Laura suggested calling Mark's mother to see if she remembered anything else that could help out. Mark hesitated but eventually agreed. When his mother answered, her voice was surprised and warm. Mark told her about the bear and how Laura had found it, then waited as she processed the news. Mark's mother was silent at first, then she started to cry softly. She said she remembered how sad Mark was when the bear went missing. She had searched for weeks, hoping it would turn up. The description Laura gave when talking about the man at the flea market rang no bell with Mark's mother. It was as if she were describing a complete stranger. But there was a connection between this unknown man and the mysterious disappearance of Mark's grandma. Linda just had a gut feeling about it. The next morning, Laura found Mark sitting on the bed, staring at the teddy bear. He looked thoughtful. After breakfast, Laura and Mark searched online and found that the same flea market was now being held 2 towns over. This was an opportunity they could not pass up. When they arrived, the market was busy with people and chatter just as it had been the day before. But even though the crowd was thick, Laura instantly spotted the same vendor sitting behind his table. He wore a thick sweater with a turtleneck and had the same friendly smile as the day prior. Laura approached the vendor with Mark at her side, holding the bear close to her chest. The vendor's eyes lit up with recognition as soon as he saw them. "Ah, good day, miss. Good to see you again. I hope that bear brought you great joy. It's very special." Laura thanked the vendor for selling her the bear, then asked gently, "Do you remember where you got it? And why do you keep saying that it's special?" "Well, that was what the woman who gave me the bear told me, and that was not all she did." The old man reached into his inner pocket and fiddled around, and that's when something bizarre happened. The old vendor pulled out 2 photos from his inner jacket pocket, and in these photos, Laura and Mark saw themselves. They were casual photos, like someone snapped them while passing by. Something that surprised Laura and Mark at the same time. "What are you doing with these photos of us?" Mark asked, highly confused and slightly irritated. The vendor cut in and quickly apologized. "I understand how this looks, but the woman who gave me this bear pleaded with me to only sell the stuffed animal to one of the 2 individuals in these pictures." The vendor continued his explanation and stated that when he saw Laura walk along the flea market stands, he instantly recognized her from the photo. "After I spotted you in the crowd yesterday, I took out the bear and placed it on my table, hoping you would buy it. It's not for sale for anyone else." Laura looked confused at the old man and asked him the first question that entered her mind. "Why would you go to all this trouble for some stranger who gave you a bear to sell?" The man sighed and then stated that this woman wasn't a stranger to him at all. "She's the love of my life." Laura and Mark still didn't know what all of this meant yet, but that was all about to change. The old vendor smiled kindly and told them that if they wanted to know the truth, then they should meet the woman who gave him the plush animal. "We'll write down the address. You should go there." The old man scribbled a few lines on a piece of paper and handed the note over to Laura. "You'll understand everything when you get there," he stated. Laura and Mark exchanged a look, then walked toward the car, occasionally glancing back at the vendor. Driving through the countryside, they followed the directions on the scrap of paper. The city soon faded, replaced by wide open fields. When they reached a small cottage, they walked along the stone path. Mark's legs felt heavy, but Laura gently encouraged him. Laura pressed the doorbell, and after a moment, they heard slow footsteps. The red door opened, revealing an elderly woman. Mark froze as tears filled his eyes. He recognized his grandmother immediately. Inside the cottage, Mark and Laura sat at the kitchen table while Tilda poured tea with shaking hands. Emotions swirled through Mark as he asked why she had disappeared. Tilda took a deep breath and explained that she never wanted to leave but felt she had no choice. Then she mentioned that they had already met her husband at the flea market, leaving Mark and Laura confused. Tilda explained that her marriage to Mark's grandfather had been unhappy. Though they appeared normal to others, she had long felt dismissed and trapped. Meeting James, the gentleman from the flea market, changed everything. Their friendship deepened, and for the first time she felt truly valued. Eventually, worn down and frightened, she left quietly on a rainy October day. Starting a new life with James gave her peace, but leaving her family behind filled her with regret. She admitted taking the teddy bear when she left, a small reminder of her grandson. Every day she looked at it, torn between guilt and comfort. Over the years, she searched for Mark online and eventually discovered Laura. One day, she and James saw the couple walking in the park. They took a photo from afar and began planning how to return the bear without shocking Mark. James attended every local flea market, hoping for a natural encounter that would open the door to reconciliation. Hearing this, Mark sat in silence, wiping his eyes. For the first time, he understood the fear and sorrow behind her disappearance. Tilda finished by asking whether he could ever forgive her. Mark stood, walked around the table and hugged her tightly. She was older now, but still the grandmother he remembered. He told her he forgave her and that he had missed her deeply. The 3 of them sat together for a long time, sharing stories, laughing and crying as they reconnected. They promised not to lose each other again. Visits became frequent, and slowly the rest of the family was brought back into Tilda's life. Difficult conversations followed, but everyone agreed it was time to heal. The cottage became a place of new beginnings. Mark introduced Tilda and James to his mother, who was overwhelmed but relieved. Family dinners resumed, and apologies were met with open arms. Understanding her past made it easier for everyone to accept her return. The teddy bear, once a symbol of loss, became a sign of forgiveness. Mark kept it in the living room as a reminder of the family that had rebuilt itself. They created new memories, holidays at the cottage, shared meals, and evenings by the fire. Tilda felt grateful every day for her second chance. Years later, Mark would tell his own children the story of the bear and how it helped reunite their family. He wanted them to know that even after years of silence and pain, love could find its way back home. The cottage, the bear, and Tilda were proof of that.